Hey, good morning, guys. Wanted to go over this real quick with you. This is going to be the next assignment. It is the French and Indian War debt. Um, Really, what's going to happen is because we fought that war and because of how much money was spent on that war, it's going to help lead us to the American Revolution. So, I just want you to see how much it's going to change the budget and why they're going to get so angry. Now, I'm going to read this through with you, and then I'll go over the questions at the end. All right. Debt. Nobody ever wants the blame for something when it goes wrong. Sometimes we need to put ourselves in others' shoes to be able to see the full side of the problem at hand. Let's take a look at the status of colonies in the early to mid 1700s. For nearly a century, and half the colonists had been confined to a several hundred-mile wide strip of territory along the Atlantic coast. But in the middle decades of the 18th century, the pressures of increasing population density began to be felt. Over-cultivated soil in the east was becoming depleted. Particularly in the Chesapeake areas, the number of tenants was visibly growing. Older towns now seemed overcrowded, especially in New England, and young men coming of age could no longer count on obtaining pieces of land as their fathers had done. Throughout the colonies, more and more people were on the move. Many drifted into the small colonial cities, which were ill equipped to handle them. By 1772, in Philadelphia, the percentage of poor was 8 times greater than it had been 20 years earlier. Almshouses were being constructed and filled as never before. Almshouses are kind of like homeless shelters. Most of these passing poor, however, saw the cities only as way stations in their endless search for land on which they might recreate the stability they had been forced to abandon. All this movement had far-reaching effects on American society and its place in the British Empire. The fragmentation of households, churches, and communities increased. The colonial governments lost control of the mushrooming new settlements. In the back country, lawlessness and beggary became common, and disputes over land claims and colonial boundaries increased sharply. For Britain, and this is going to be your most important paragraph of this, there became this disturbing huge expense confronting the British government. By 1763, the war debt totaled 137 million pounds. It's kind of like dollars for us. Its annual interest along was 5 million pounds, which was a huge figure when compared with an ordinary yearly British peacetime budget of 8 million pounds. There was, moreover, little prospect of military costs declining. Since new territories were virtually uninhabited by Englishmen, the government could not rely on its traditional system of local defense and police to preserve order. Lord Jeffrey Amherst, Commander-in-Chief in North America, estimated that he would need 10,000 troops to keep the peace with the French and Indians and to deal with squatters, smugglers, and bandits. Thus, at the outset of the 1760s, the British government made a crucial decision that no subsequent administration ever abandoned: the decision to maintain a standing army in America. Standing means they are ready to go when needed. This peacetime army was more than double that had existed in the colonies before the 7 Years' War, and the costs of maintaining it quickly climbed to well over £300,000 a year. All right, so what I want to do is I want to take a look at the questions now. Math question number 1. Use numbers only, no commas. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to read through the questions first. Math question number 2. Use numbers only, no commas. What is the yearly interest on England's war debt? Pretty sure we saw that. Math question number 3. Again, no numbers only, no commas. What is the yearly cost of keeping soldiers in North America? Okay. Math question number 4. Use numbers only, no commas, no cents, round up. So it's going to be a flat pound. Take the overall war debt for the British and then divide it by 30. It would normally take 30 years to pay off a loan. So how much would we need to pay this off per year over 30 years? And that's what that number is going to give you. And then the last question, math question number 5, use numbers only, no commas, no cents, which you shouldn't have a cent because of that one, right? You're rounding it, no cents. For this final one, there's nothing to check. Add up questions 1 through 4. England was usually spending the answer to number 1. After the French and Indian War, this is now what they will need to pay yearly. All right? And that would be for at least the next 30 years, but we're going to get to it. I want to go over question number 1. How much does it cost to run a country during peacetime? The one that matters. It looks like it's £8 million. Yearly British peace budget of £8 million. All right, so we're going to put the number here. I wanted to do that on purpose. I understand I did not put 8 million. You have to have the correct number. It won't let you move on without it. The only one that check isn't in for is going to be for question number 5. All right, everything else, it's going to tell you whether you're right or wrong. If you're wrong, go find it again. You will find all of your numbers coming out of this paragraph. They're all there. You might have to do a little bit of math. If you open up over here, come on. This one will do the math for you. And then just plug the numbers in. Remember, no cents. Round up. No commas. All right. Well, I hope that helped. And if not, hit me up on Hangouts or come talk to me in our scheduled meet. All right. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.